I was playing it a little bit just to remind myself how to play. Wipe that one out. Cool thing about playing on original hardware too is I can like take my Vita with me when I go places and actually, you know, farm stuff up in the game. I don't have to always be on my computer. In this world, the weak of heart succumb to greed, but their crimes will not go unnoticed. For the sorcerers are watching, and it is they who mete out punishment to the guilty. They who murder in the name of justice. Now, one thing you're going to notice a little bit, it's slightly annoying, is the auto playthrough of the text is a little bit slow, but if you try to button prompt it, it'll like skip random things. So I'm going to let it play out at its own pace. You know, it's going to be a chill playthrough besides the horrific bosses we'll fight. I don't know why I reached for that guy's dick.
Did you hear that awful cry? Did you hear that?
Nice hair, bud.
Awful cry. What should I do? I'm next.
Yeah, you are.
I can't bear to think of the pain. How terrible it must be. He is called Magusa, an evil sorcerer who devours human sacrifices. Help me! I hear footsteps!
What am I supposed to do, man? I'm in a bone cage, too.
Magusa's henchmen have come! No! No!
Couple of handsome fellows.
Wait! Please! No! How I'd wished I could keep my power for you.
I can wreck those skelemen.
Oh no, my secret's discovered. So much for my great escape. I couldn't tell anybody that I was reading that book. I was almost there.
You weren't
I
shit.
was so close to learning Magusa's secret.
An eyeball wizard, man. You just popped them. That was cool.
Hey! You there! Yeah, you! Over here!
That's stupid. I have it set that I can use a controller, but I still have to touchscreen that.
Did you just see how that last one died? Hurry up and hide me, you idiot, before Magusa discovers me!
I feel like you're pretty well hidden under the bones.
That hurt, you bumbling fool!
So this is our best friend.
Calm down, you spineless half-wit. I am Libron. I am a book, and a fine one at that. I am the journal of a certain sorcerer. But I am no ordinary journal. You can revisit my contents in Phantom Quests. Go on, have a peek.
I like they just like, they don't fuck around. They're just like, You can just get right back to it. I like it. Bit of exposition on the front end, not much. They're just like, I'm a book. You can go to Magic Land. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this quest. Literally just did it yesterday and I already forgot it.
We are companions. We walk this blood-stained road together. What's wrong?
Oh.
Why are you so restless?
1 sec. It's good. I just want to make sure. I find aiming spells, you need the camera at level 2 for it to actually be useful. Alright, that's what that does.
Who am I? What a stupid question.
Oh. God's sakes. Looks like the controller just fucked up. It's amazing. You test this shit for hours without a problem,
I am your
and then it
companion.
decides to fuck when you're streaming. Oh well, that's life. That brick wall.
Stay focused.
Alright, should be fine now. I literally tested it for like a few hours yesterday. That's always the way of it. Oh well.
Good. Our work here is done. You are not injured, I trust.
No, bud, I'm good. Ew. What does this one do? Oh, cool.
Our enemy is strong. We must be on our guard.
They kind of throw you into it in this. Yeah, idiot.
The price must be paid.
Do it, Magasar. Hey, dude. Jesus. This is pretty much a, like, check out some of the powers you can have. Quest, and then Magasar actually finishes it off. And then they actually ease you into a bit of a standard kind of couple of tutorial quests, stuff like that.
Well, how did it feel to relive the past?
He's like, aren't I rad as shit?
What you saw was recreated from the journal. You met Magusar, I presume, back before he went positively mad. No, you're not dreaming. This is just what I do.
Just hang out and make people relive the past.
Every secret is written within me.
Cool.
To find the answers, read me to the end. I even tell the secrets of Magusa. Study the journal closely, and you may think of a way out of this terrible mess. You'd be the first to succeed. The rest have failed miserably, I'm afraid. Submit to Magusa or seek liberation. These are your only choices. Go on now, keep reading, for that is your only hope.
I fucking love the front and like back page of the book. Like that dedication to my future self, the beast. All right, this will be chapter 1.
Rise, or this will be your resting place.
I had been caught off guard, knocked cold by a monster. The woman mocked my vulnerability, my oafishness with cruel insults.
Damn, I just made a mistake.
Yet we had only just...
See what I mean, though? It's got like a little bit of a pause in between each block of text, but some of them you can skip ahead, but others, if you do, it'll like fly through a whole bunch of stuff. It's hard to tell when it'll do it.
Tiara, and she was displeased at being my partner. It is the stone cold truth. Many taking the ordeal forfeit their lives.
Alright, so this is how you select your quests in this game. It's basically, as you're reliving his past, you'll kind of go up against the different monsters he had to fight. So these are basically, they'd be equivalent to like a Velociprey, like just small monsters. Only some descendants of a certain lesser line have what it takes to perform spells. It is customary for such descendants to undertake the ordeal when they approach adulthood. Disposing of monsters is a sorcerer's duty. Even if they show their original form, grant them no mercy. So all the monsters are like people and creatures that like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like basically went wrong. Also, the battlefields in this game are like surreal.
Stay the hell awake or die.
Okay, so we only have those spells. Alright, make offerings of the things you own and gain magical power in exchange for their life force. There are hundreds of items that can be used as offerings. So that's kind of the cool thing, is you set your spells in this game, but you only have a certain amount of uses. And you can get those uses back.
Stay the hell awake or die.
And then basically when you kill something, it kind of reverts back to its form. So these are literally rats. So saving or sacrificing decide a monster's fate. So if you save them, your life level goes up, which increases your life, and it boosts your defense. If you sacrifice, it increases your attack, and it'll also return some of the uses of your spells. And you can actually overuse spells to the point of breaking them. For the beginning, I'm going to try to keep it like fairly down the middle. Sacrificing renews offering strength. Avalon sorcerers gain the following effects: renew offering and restores health. Not having a good day of it, sorry. So if you sacrifice, you get your offerings back. If you save them, you restore a bit of your health. I promise I'm usually better at actually talking through things.
Stay the hell awake or die.
The only sad thing is I think the multiplayer for this game is like gone. I don't think you could play it online. Like it actually had a multiplayer component. I used to play it all the time, but I think it is completely gone now. Let's try this spell again. This is just a charge up ability.
Quick, make a sacrifice.
I think by the third quest, they actually kind of get into the game proper. And then this is basically I'm sacrificing some of my health to use that spell. And then if you save them, instead of killing them, it lets them kind of revert back to their standard form. But as a sorcerer, we're to show no mercy to anything. I always wished for this game to get some kind of console release or PC release. Like, it deserved better than it got. It really did. Like, I know a lot of people like it, but fuck, man. This game deserved a lot better than to be left behind on the Vita and just not have anything done with it. At least it got the Delta version, though. So these are the different offerings. So you can see how many casts you have. What it does, its element, that kind of stuff. We'll get into that proper when I actually go to, like, slot in. You can carry up to 6 spells at a time. It's itchy. There we go.
Sortiara grinned, flashing her teeth after routing the goblins. It was the first time I saw her smile. I told her that she looked better when she was angry. She almost killed me for that. But little did I know that I would never see her smile again. And worse, the memory of her smile would haunt me forever.
Wait! I almost forgot. This journal can be altered slightly. Only certain special pages, of course. Here, let me show you.
Show me Librum.
This is a portrait of a previous sorcerer. But this is a portrait that can be retouched, thus changing the appearance of the
It is kind of cool.
sorcerer
You can
in
change the
story.
appearance of your character literally whenever you want. This game isn't about armor so much. It's more about your offerings, and then you can see the right arm section there. When you unlock that, there's a lot of actual extra customization and stuff you can do. There's actually like a lot of customization you can do as you go forward in the game. All right. I'll just make the same dude I made before. There, he's just tired. He has a beard. He's cool. A lot of the haircuts suck in this game. The physical character doesn't have the most customization, but it is what it is. There, he's just worn out. And then highlight. This purple color. There is like a bunch of different like top halves in that you could do as you go forward, stuff like that. I usually do these. Oh. And then you can have the hood or not. I like to leave the hood on because I think it actually looks kind of cool. Jeez, they're all so extra. Whatever. Type N.
You know, no one remembers the name of this long-lost sorcerer. But we can't very well leave it blank. Fill in your own name, will you?
Ah, shit. There. We'll have to leave it at S for now. I'll change it later on.
Belongs to the distant past.
The custom plugin I'm using to let me actually output the Vita, I have it set to black out the actual Vita's screen because to get the audio to work, I can't have USB charging on. Otherwise, there's like a horrible feedback to the audio. So sacrifices had to be made, haha. So we'll leave our name as S for now, and then I'll change it to Warbeard kind of later on when I can actually like see the screen in that to type on the software keyboard.
No one will mind if you smudge them out of existence.
So next time we play this, will actually be proper.
Look, you're going to love this. Wipe the moisture around my eye.
That's weird. Delicious.
That droplet on the tip of your finger, it can be put to great use. You can use it to erase portions of the records within me. But only parts of them, mind you. New droplets will form again in time. Check back now and then. Oh, and by the way, these are not tears, you miserable troll.
Yeah. Alright, so this is where we can actually look at our offerings. So you can assign offerings to change the spells you take on quest, customize 2 palettes of 3 offerings each. You can also drag icons from the right to left to assign them. So, I like to keep the heal spell there. Alright. And I like... I don't really find that root spell too useful yet, so... Let's see. Costs a large amount of health. You know what we'll do is we'll switch it out for the root, because I hate sacrificing my health. And then we'll bring along the feather, because that's what lets us do that kind of short-range teleport around. And then as a last resort, I'll bring along the blood salvo until we get some more spells. I forgot that I can't use the keyboard when this is hooked up. That's annoying. Oh well. We'll change his name to Warbeard later. I also really like, so the dedication is cool, and then the postscript is also cool. You know, one last thing to be noted, my name, before I forget it. Forgetting one's existence, a fate worse than death. My name is... scratched out. Contained within these pages is proof of my existence. Alright, let's continue on with the Sorcerers Ordeal with S. My bad.
Half of those who attempt the Sorcerer's Ordeal will die. This was perhaps the only thing we knew for sure. The grueling Sorcerer's Ordeal is administered by Avalon.
They don't do themselves any favors.
One could join the society and become a fully fledged sorcerer.
Like, their lair looks evil.
She was just another person who signed up along with me.
Follow my lead. Death to all.
Anything I told her fell upon deaf ears.
You know what I'll do is I'll try to make the dialogue move quicker, and if it skips a bunch of stuff, I'll just... Unfortunately, we'll have to start that page over kind of
But I
thing.
knew this could work in my favor.
Shit.
I was wise to keep my distance, so that I could be done with her when the time came. And we both knew that eventually that time would come. Better not to get too attached.
Alright, now we gotta deal with the orcs. Most sorcerers belong to an organization called Avalon. Joining is proof one has come of age as a sorcerer. One of my earliest memories was of my parents telling me about necessary evils. My parents were sorcerers. It was fated their path would become mine. The bloodstained path I walk to this day. This whole world just seems awful. Like, there's no, like, here's just a normal ass area.
Follow in my wake.
So now that we have this, we can do the quick movements again. And when the quick movements are activated, we can do, like, kind of zip forward kind of stuff with it. I usually save the cats unless I desperately need to sacrifice. So this spell, you can actually hold it down. You need to make sure you have time to do it, but it'll do like a much larger attack.
Make the sacrifice.
And that's the same with these fists. Plus I gotta balance out anyway. So this is the fist if you charge it up. Does like a big knockback, but it also ends your cast of that spell.
Make the sacrifice. Put the bloody thing out of its misery.
Rats though.
Make a sacrifice.
I'm doing it, man, but I gotta stop these rats. Save this. Like I said, we'll keep it kind of balanced at the beginning, because you can kind of adjust it later on as you go as well. I fucking love this, like, teleport. There's, like, a lot of different movement abilities, but I don't know. I really like the basic one. It's kind of cool. The other thing is you can really tell that this game is like, it was built to be like a portable game. So a lot of the quests, like they're, you know, fairly short. Like even the major monsters, they're not like, some of them can be, but they're not like big half-hour ordeals or anything like that. It's usually, as long as you're doing the right thing, it's like decently quick. These spells are actually cool. So they are like a defensive wall that you can put up. And you can actually counter with it.
Sortiara mercilessly pounded away at the slaughtered monster. It was dead beyond any doubt. I tried to stop her, but she glared at me enraged, saying,
Get in my way and you will be
I
next.
feel like she's just going out of her way to not be my best friend.
It was nightfall. As we sat warming ourselves at the bonfire, I heard a sob. Sortiara was weeping, clutching her right arm. The blight. A deformation of the right arm, the price we sorcerers pay to wield magic. The sight of her tears brought pangs to my heart. I gently caressed her back in solace. Her sobs echoed in the dark of night. I could only imagine her pain as my hand rested upon her sobbing frame.
You know that woman who appears in the journal?
Mm-hmm.
You would be wise to watch her closely. She'll have an impact on our author.
The arm smarts. It was an odd expression, but Sortiara spoke of her bloodlust thus. This monster was once human. A sorcerer who had misused his magic and transformed himself into a monster. We sorcerers are tasked with the disposal of such lost men.
Yeah, and we don't fuck around.
Looking at the beast, Sortiara said,
Don't think, kill.
"It was an order, as if I needed to be told. We all know that sorcerers are in the business of murder."
All right, so this will be the first of the like larger enemies. I think they call them archfiends. Archfiends? Maybe. I gotta double check. Okay, let's set this up. Get rid of that. Put in that. And then we now have the Ars Magica. So this will actually tell you all of the spells in the game and how many you have and all that kind of thing. Each time you obtain a new offering, it will be recorded here. Your intelligence rises as more offerings are recorded. And there is like a shit ton of spells. And then we have the new title. But yeah, just tons and tons and tons of spells. And it gets interesting because as you play, if you have duplicates of offerings, you can combine them together to make them stronger. You can fuse spells to make new ones. You can also, out in the field, you can actually cast a spell and then cast another one and they'll work off of each other. It's quite a cool game. Like, I don't know. I really like it. I do wish that I had a ranged attack that I could aim, but I don't think I get that yet. Actually, I think it's from the Iron Mill. And then what I'll do, I don't know. I'll read the lore of the, like, archfiends, because I think it's kind of interesting. Perhaps you already know the story of the war, of the Romulus Empire seeking world domination, and the sorcerers rising up against them. The damage incurred remains widespread. Among the victims, there arose a curiosity known as the Jack-o'-lantern. Even in triumph, the Empire sacrificed many soldiers in the struggle. However, some warriors were not afforded a warrior's death, they say. It was the sorcery pervading the battlefield. They did not die like men. To this day, their fight continues. For their soldierly regrets remained and strove to rouse their lifeless flesh. But bereft of strength, their bodies failed to respond. Yet still, they could not die, for king and for country. Though their hearts had stopped beating, they tried to rise again. In miraculous fashion, their undying resolve bonded with remnants of sorcery filling the air. The will of the soldiers began to manifest from the junk of weaponry and armor around them. As the wreckage accumulated, it assumed an almost human shape. Overcoming the bonds of flesh, their intense longing had taken form. And despite losing their human frame, soldiers emerged again. As armor and blades grew in giant clusters, some said they were like pumpkins raised on the battlefield. Faint glow emanated from their cores like a lamp. Aptly named Jack-o'-lantern, these aberrations are now a common sight in the ravaged fields of war. Knowing nothing but endless battle, they fight without pause despite losing their humanity and all sense of self. They remain in this world. They lead a fearsome existence, eternally yearning for the next conflict. So yeah, there's like a tragic story for like, or not even tragic. Sometimes it's like literally something just seeked out power and like became what it is. Like the rats and that, and the cats, like why they became what they are. Monsters must be punished even if they show their humanity. Killing in the name of justice, a sorcerer's duty. Some tactical advice. This place is kind of normal looking. Now the cool thing is you get a bit of time to like look around the battlefields and that. You don't actually start fighting the Archfiend. I gotta look up what they're called. It's in the book. I'm gonna say Archfiends for now. But you get a chance to kind of look around before you actually have to start fighting them. Sordiara is so much stronger than the player character at this point. And the other thing you have is you have your mind's eye, so that'll let you see either enemies or like little items in the field here. So that gives you that, and then there'll be like little areas where you can like, you know, inject your arm with power. So you can almost absorb a spell and use it from the actual field. And then there'll always be something to renew offering power in the area. So, we'll go fight this boy. All right, so it's just teaching us about Mind's Eye. So it'll let you see cursed parts on the monsters. So if you break those cursed parts, you'll actually get extra rewards at the end of quests. You can also see like enemy health. It'll kind of turn, I believe it goes green to orange, or green to yellow to orange to red, and then they're dead. That kind of stuff. Shit. So you can knock him away that way. And then kind of go to town on him while he's knocked down. I was hoping to get my spell off before his. Oh well. It's not coming for me this time. He really doesn't want to go for me. You see ice build up on him. If you use an enemy's elemental weakness, you will actually be able to eventually stun them if you use it enough on them.
Make it rain. I'll bleed you dry.
And I'm just gonna real quick renew my offerings. Fucking hate those rats. They always have little minor ones in the battlefields just because you do need to have the ability to sacrifice and absorb more during a fight. Just so you can see, so he has multiple cursed areas. If you break all of them, you do get extra reward. But it's hard for this fight until you get some ranged attacks that you can aim. Just because Sordiara is quite strong and she'll kill it ahead, like, very quickly. Because you're still basically in the tutorial. And then just like the smaller creatures, you get the ability to decide if you're going to sacrifice or save them. Oh yeah, so they are archfiends then, so that's cool. And the thing that was kind of cool about it,
Stay the hell away or die. Killing.
when you played multiplayer, it was majority rules. So it takes a while for them to die. Because say you had 3 people, 2 people said save, 1 person said sacrifice, then they're saved.
This world in blood.
So whenever there's another sorcerer, it's kind of based on that. When it's just like single player like this with an NPC, it defaults to whatever you pick though. That's gonna end it. I do like that the quest timer is like, you finish the quest, you sacrifice or save, and then you're done. It's a very good game for like just getting in a couple quick ones when you're, you know, just hanging out. There we go, we got some ranged abilities. So that'll be a ranged ability where you can actually throw out a bunch of blades and aim it. That is just a fire version of that like ground-based ice spell we were using. And then this is just an elemental version of a melee attack, a little bit different than the axe. And then these are specifically from the Jack-o'-lantern, which is a transformation spell, which is actually pretty cool. If I had broken all 3 curse parts, there's actually another reward you can get. But it gets easier when you have like other spells. Like later on when I have stronger like aimable range spells, then I can like specifically target his arms and like go off on it. Like I was trying to do it a bit when he was knocked down, but Sordiara like actually adds enough damage to the group that you kill it really quickly. Basically, she doesn't fuck around.
We took care of that lost soul. Yes, we did. The sensation of flaying flesh was not easily forgotten.
And then one thing to keep in mind with this is you can redo that quest and save him instead, and then you can actually change the outcome in the book. So I don't quite remember what happens based on which NPCs you save, but different things can happen. But the nice part is you can go back, relive the quest again, and change your decision if there's like a certain outcome that you're looking for or something like that. So it's quite cool.
This is what sorcerers do. Murder.
Yeah, we do.
In his final breath, I heard a faint voice say, "Help me." Death to monsters.
Damn.
The creed of the sorcerer. Whether I liked it or not, I had to live with it. We peered at his corpse, and Sortiara said this.
Take a good look. One of us will share his fate.
The ordeal plodded onward towards the dreadful conclusion she suggested.
Whatever you learn in these pages will stay with you in this world. Eventually, you will learn to cast magic on your own. Then, you'll have a chance at bringing Magusar to his knees.
And then one cool thing, because there's so many cool things.
Are you used to the phantom quests now? If you feel you've earned enough experience within my pages, and wish to challenge Magusar, then speak to me. Although at this point, that would be suicide.
So you can actually challenge the final boss, like now. So at any time, you can just back into the book and be like, I'm going to fight Magusar. We're not going to do that. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to show off. You have that option kind of right off the bat. So, continue on. And then with these pages, to make it a little bit easier when you're looking, you could sort it to see which monster's there, and then also which rewards. Because the quests are so short, you can go in. So say I want a bunch more of those falcon feathers so that I can, you know, build them up and improve them. Then I can just kind of farm out that quest a bit. And it makes it easier, too, just to find the quest you're looking for instead of, like, Sorcerer's Ordeal Chapter 3, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Had she lied to me? She had told me from the very beginning.
Beware. I will kill you in an instant if it furthers my aims.
We can be friends. Oh, then something happened that made me wonder. See, that's why you don't just let it plod.
She shielded me from a monster, as if prepared to die for me. But why? I have no value to one such as her. It made little sense. But whatever the case, it may be harder than I had thought to let this woman die.
Damn.
I was determined to overcome this fight.
One cool thing that I always liked, like, I don't remember when it starts to happen, but as you're playing through the game, it comes to a point where you'll literally, as it's reading the page will, like, rip, and it'll be like, 4 days until the end of the world, and it's like, shit. It's really cool. Alright, let's arm ourselves. So now we have the ability to boost offerings, so that's what I was talking about, where if you have duplicates, you can actually make them stronger now. So for example, we could take the pumpkin head, like the soldier's ember here from the from the jack-o'-lantern. Hit that, and then it'll give us more casts of it before it'll break. So now we have that. We can also boost the axe edge. And then I like this here. We could boost our healing spell now. And it does count the ones in your book as one. You got to keep in mind, if it says like X1 here, it's, you know, based on what's in your book. So you actually have to go over and make sure you put the new one that you've made into the book. We'll bring along this just because it's a cool spell. And then the other neat thing you can do, because there's so many, is you can hit select at any time and just pop into a quick little arena with one of the rats just to test out your build. So you don't have to like go into a whole quest and then it turns out that what you put together is like shitty kind of thing. So we can test it out. So what that spell does is you literally turn into a version of the pumpkin head, and then you can charge at the enemy with like a fire attack. And it does a good chunk of damage, so it's actually a pretty good spell. I think you can charge 2 or 3 times before it runs out. I can't quite remember. Twice. And then this is the other spell I was talking about. And now you have these spinning blades that you can lock on. And when you have a spell charging, you can't do your like dash attack. You actually have to like just do standard rolls and that. And then that's like one of the combos I said. So if you have the fast step locked in and you go with the melee ability, you'll actually rush forward and attack the enemy that way. And like I said, if you charge up, you lose that spell. Yeah, so it's cool. You can, you know, test out your abilities, do whatever you want from there. I always forget the Vita's load times, though. They're not amazing. They're not bad, but they're longish. I remember Freedom Unite, you could actually install extra data to make it load a little bit different. I'm gonna bring that instead of the arm. The arms are cool, but kind of like that a little better. All right, that's good. There we go. We got an intelligence reward. So now we have the ability to basically conjure. It's like a fist that like punches up into the ground. I don't use that one so much, and then you can see in the top right, you get more abilities as you get more offering. And if I wanted to power up these abilities more, I could go and like repeat quests a couple of times to like build them up. Which that kind of stuff I'll try to do off stream, but you know, sometimes you just need to power something up for a specific enemy. But we probably won't need to today because this is mainly tutorials and stuff like that.
Had she lied to me? She had told me from the very...
Actually, we were here. Sorry. These enemies are kind of cool, so their like basic lore is that they were like crows that decided that the path to like becoming the rulers of the world was to have more greed, and who is greedier than man, so they start like consuming sorcerers and then they kind of mutated into what they are. I'm still not sure if I'll read the lore for like every little enemy or just the Arc Fiends. Not sure yet. I carried Sordiara to a shady spot. Lying there unconscious, she looked like any other girl. She could have been anyone. My father was also a sorcerer. He died battling a monster. But it was not the monster that killed him. It was his companion that ended his life. My father was sacrificed, an honorable death. I feel no sadness. He made me promise not to. And that was one of the other things in the multiplayer. If somebody like got knocked down or out of health, like you could save them, but you could also sacrifice them. So like it was kind of cool. I gotta look into it. I'm pretty sure the multiplayer's gone, but if it's still active, I would be down for playing that. I'm pretty sure it's down. Like the Vita's pretty much fully out of commission for the most part. I wonder if I can hit him. What's that? I want to look up how long that was. Yeah, I don't think they come down. Yeah, so... enemy design is really cool in this game, though. It's one thing I've always liked about it. I brought some ranged attacks to get them on the ground. Fuck. And this one's basically the same as the other one. It's just like a flame element version of the attack. I don't want to sacrifice the cats. And you gotta keep your eyes open because, like, it's not like, oh, that spell ran out. Like, it's a visual component. Like, my feet are lit up. You can use Mind's Eye to kind of search for it. It mutes out the volume in that, like you're focusing. Where the hell is that crow? I think this level is more introducing you to flying enemies and being like, you better have some ranged spells, buddy. Yeah, there we go. So that's what happens when you charge up the pitchfork, is it'll like do like a big flurry, which looks like this. It's like you'll see it actually get bigger, and then he'll just lay it out and do a big combo. Just gonna get my water while that finishes up. The only thing is, streaming the Vita kind of messes up my desk a bit because I have to keep it over where I usually keep my drink. Because I need it to be close enough. All right, so that's a different movement ability. So this one, instead of kind of a short range teleport, you actually go underground and then pop back out. Got a bunch of the healing spell. And I'll show you how the healings, like how the boosting actually works as you go forward. Because it gets like, you can see how the gameplay loop gets addictive if you start focusing on wanting to power up your spells.
Why did you look after me? I was dismissed.
Leave me be.
Her tone was not to be trifled with. As she took to her feet, she muttered something.
I felt at peace when I felt your touch.
Is that why she shielded me from that beast? A gentle touch. I meant it as nothing more. She gave me only curt replies.
We became best friends.
Shut your mouth. Be quiet, half-wit. Is it death you crave?
Her answers were always the same and never rang true.
That's Sortiara. She keeps her heart under lock and key. But apparently she was pleased when you touched her back. She will soon grow quite close to our dear author. Go on, keep reading and see for yourself.
And would be. Keep interrupting, man.
It is beyond my control.
That was how she explained the bloodlust within her.
The sight of blood disgusts me.
Sortiara said this with a sigh. She continued despondently.
Yet no one believes me.
I told her that was not true. She calmed herself and said,
Thank you.
We're becoming best friends, and that's sad.
We heard a howl from dead ahead. The appointed victim of our, no, my, ordeal. I finally understood my partner, and the ordeal would soon end. I knew this was coming. I knew that our partnership was cursed, and that one of us would have to die.
Alright, so we'll take a look at our spells real quick. Also, we now have Black Rites, which are basically like your once per quest super moves. So you basically just pick the one. It has like a gameplay effect though, which we just started with Infernus. So the price is your skin. So basically when you use that, you lose half of your defense value. So it does a shit ton of damage, but for the rest of that quest, you're very, very weak. So avoid getting hit kind of thing. And then the way these work is, so if I want to increase this to like a 2-star spell, I need to have 2 of the 1-stars. It's not just a matter of adding more into it. It's a matter of actively creating more of them. So now we get 5 casts. And it like gets crazier as the game goes forward. Let's see. Use the giant's arm. And I'll go into the Phantom Quest just so you can see what the mole ability is. I don't use it. I kind of like the like short range teleport move a bit more myself. Like I like the feather move, but you know, it's kind of your own preference. So this one just gives you kind of slide underneath the ground. It's a bit slower, but I believe it full out kind of negates any hits or anything like that. And you do get that ability where you can actually come up out of the ground and juggle enemies when you have it. So that's what I was talking about with like combining spells and that, is it's literally based on how you use it. This one I find though is a little bit easy, well, a lot easier to tell if it's active because you have that little trail under you. So so I can come down, jump up, and just fucking lay into that guy in the air. So it's got its own, like, kind of cool parts. And you can do that again, like when you fire forward, you can jump back out of the ground, like, midway through the attack. You just have to time your button presses. And we still haven't unlocked all the customization options, so far you could improve your spells, build them up, you could set them up in a way that they combine together. You have your black rights, which you get more of those as the game goes on. Depending on how many people you save or sacrifice, you're balancing out your defense and attack power, so there's a lot to it, which is really cool. Where's my feather? Actually, we might as well boost that. Okay. Still only have one ranged attack, though. It is what it is, though. Maybe what we'll do is get rid of the axe. We'll bring that along. And then we'll check out the Harpy's lore. There was once a noblewoman of monstrous proportion. Formerly slender of frame, an incident occurred that changed her forever. A broken heart. Grief-stricken, she turned to food to plug the hole in her heart, and as her appetite grew, so did her sighs. One day, she left her mansion to sate her glut, as was her custom. Her knees ached under her ballooning weight. Walking was now, alas, something of a struggle. On arriving at a nearby market, she saw her favorite fruit at a stall and toddled over. Just as she arrived, the vendor stood up and their eyes met. On that day, at that stall, she fell in love once more. Thereafter, she visited every day. Lovesickness whetted her appetite even more. But even as she ate, she became sensitive about her size. How could anyone love this profound rotundity? But the more her worries ate away at her, the more she had to eat. And then one day, without warning, their love was rent asunder. The street vendor was nowhere to be found. Inquiring among the other street vendors, she learned that he'd moved to a far-off town. Utterly distraught, she returned to her mansion and wept. She yearned to see him, but her excess encumbrance ruled out long-distance travel. Soon exhausted from weeping, she heard a strange voice and was greeted by the vision of a chalice. To fulfill your desire, you must make an offering. The voice kindled hope in her heart, and she obeyed its instructions. She offered up her lardy surplus. Her blubbery corpulence flowed like tallow and reformed as mighty wings. With a flap, she darted into the sky like a bird. In no time at all, she arrived at her beloved's new town. Searching from on high, she saw him, but he was not alone. The vendor was married and living happily with his new wife. She stared in blank amazement. Once again, her heart had been broken. Why? This was the worst she could have possibly imagined. And yet, she felt strangely unmoved. How could she feel so calm? I thought myself in love with that man, and yet nothing. She gazed at the street vendor from afar. Neither his looks nor status appealed one bit. Still, she couldn't deny the powerful spark of emotion the day they first met. Then it occurred to her. It wasn't love that she had felt. Certainly, it was an intense desire, but it was something altogether different. Come to think of it, she had fallen for him upon seeing her favorite fruit. Doesn't he look scrumptious? She had craved his flesh so terribly she thought herself in love. As the street vendor pleaded for his life, she gurgled, "My, what an exquisite treat you shall be." She swallowed him whole, but it was not enough to satisfy her hunger. She proceeded to devour everything he had. She ate his wife, she ate his livestock, she even ate his home and furnishings. She gorged and gorged until sharp pains ran through her stomach and she fainted. In her unconscious state, the voice whispered to her once more deep within her heart, and she screamed of her insatiable hunger. "More! I want to eat more!" Again, her flesh melted away and her stomach opened into a gaping hole. Now with this hole, she would be able to expel anything she ate immediately. Nothing would settle in her stomach. She would never be full again. She could relish the pleasure of eating eternally and continually. She couldn't have been happier, though her humanity was forfeit. Hers was a fitting conclusion. It is said she looks down from the sky even now, scouring the land for a deliciously handsome man to pounce upon. So yeah, you see what I mean? Like, each thing has a reason for what it is. It's just brutal, though. I could have suffered worse than traveling with you, Sordiara said before reaching our journey's end. Don't die, will you? Restored the quest, provided it was not destroyed. So yeah, if you do use an offering too many times, it will be destroyed, and then you gotta pay to have it usable again, essentially. This place is fucked up.
I am lucky you're my partner. Now, let us be off.
See, we're becoming friends.
Don't even think of bloody saving it.
I'm not. Fuck these rats. Alright. Still active? Let's boogie. So her, I'm not going to use the mind's eye. It's her wings and her head, essentially. If I'm remembering right, I think she is weak to, yeah, she's weak to fire. Hit her fucking wings. Out of waste. I get why the rats are there, but they are fucking annoying. Lay into her a bit. So we've got one of her wings. There is more ranged magic as you go forward.
Is it joy?
I don't need healing power. There we go. Ah, see, that's the thing. Sordiara kills them so quick. You get other quests to fight them later without, like, a secondary in the way. Because it's a lot easier when Sordiara is not, like, beating the fuck out of them so quickly.
Please, spare me my life.
Plus, I'll actually have other spells and stuff like that make it easier to aim. We will sacrifice. Be a good sorcerer. I should use the Pumpkinhead spell. Or the Jack-o'-lantern. I just love this movement spell. I think it's so cool. It's about the same range as the underground ability, though. It's not like... It feels longer range, but it's not. At least I don't think so. It feels like the same amount of movement. There we go. That's what I want. These eggs are like super duper useful. They're basically like a long-range bomb, so it's a lot easier to break parts with them. At least in the earlier parts of the game. I had a non-elemental one. when I was messing around with it yesterday, so I just may not have gotten it in the earlier quest like I got it in this one.
We survived. The monster was vanquished, and we both had our lives. But all was not well. Half of all who undertake this ordeal forfeit their lives. That much was unmistakable. Indeed, that is why I was careful not to grow too close to Sortiara. But nevertheless...
I love the way they did the voice for the book. Well, like, I don't mind the, like, slower pace of the text, because, like, I actually like listening to it.
The truth was simple. I thought of her as a friend. I realized this was dangerous. My resolve was being tested. My resolve as a sorcerer.
That's the point, bud.
There was only one thing to do.
This is one of the pages where if I hit the button, it would have skipped all of that and gone to the end of the page. Why you have to be careful and choose your battles on which dialogues you try to speed up.
I had to make a sacrifice for the ordeal. I had to sacrifice the life of my partner.
Just have some days where you can't get comfortable. That's fucking rough.
Quite a mad indoctrination, was it not? The vile Sorcerer's ordeal.
Could you walk over an ally's corpse to achieve your goals? For that's the sort of metal the ordeal demands.
Just one step away from completion.
And this is the end.
I had to stop myself from feeling any sense of camaraderie. For such emotions could only get in the way. So much happened on the journey. Sortiara was at once cruel and kind, barbarous and gentle. These memories haunt me. I wish them gone, I do, for they tear away at my heart. My eyes met hers. She probably felt exactly the same as I did. Her memories live on. It is the only consolation there is on this cruel ordeal we faced together.
That is a brutal indoctrination, damn. Sacrifice your partner. Okay, so... that's good. What we'll do, we'll bring along this. I actually like her. So the spell that you get for breaking all 3 of her cursed points, the Harpy, is you get a ability basically tosses out a tornado that like stuns enemies and knocks them in the air. So I will have to go back eventually and do that quest again to power it up, or well, to get it essentially. I don't even have it yet. But like I said, I'll try to do any farming and stuff like that kind of off stream. Which is fine, because I like playing this game, so I don't mind, you know, doing a bit of farming in between streams. I don't know how often I'm going to stream this game. I just got really excited that I got the Vita stuff working properly. Oh yeah, that's something I should check too. 68%. Because I can't run it, I can't have it charging on USB power, otherwise the audio fucks up. Like, you just get this really annoying constant feedback. I have to keep the streams at a length that the Vita can survive on battery power. But I took very good care of my Vita, so its battery life is actually pretty decent. All right, that should be good. I'm not too worried. I got teleport. Yeah. I wonder if Mole would be better for her. Yeah. Oh yeah, nothing for 2 more offerings, it says right there. All right. My father was sacrificed, but I bear no grudge. Indeed, if I feel any resentment, it is towards the monsters he fought. That is why I shall undergo the ordeal, to create a world free of monsters. Avalon has agents who eliminate those who disobey the rules of the ordeal. This cold-blooded murder is unavoidable. So, I've tried it. If you do try to save Sordiara, you just have to fight her again. It doesn't change the outcome, it just makes it, she'll just be like, what are you doing? And then you have to keep fighting her. Which just grinds away your resources, and eventually you will lose or sacrifice her. Like, you have no choice. And then you can skip the intros, the areas that you've already been to, which is cool.
Fighting against you is so trying. Still, it will only take an instant to kill you.
Terrible. I thought we were friends.
At least now
This spell is very useful against her because you can just kind of pour it in, fast attack, and then go from there. Don't give her time to charge up her spells, kind of thing.
I should have never known you at all. Who knew fighting with you was so trying?
See if we can land one of these on her just so you can see it. There we go. And we don't have a choice. We have to sacrifice. Game actually makes you feel bad. I don't know if it's just me. I get invested in the stories of games. Not like crazily, but I'm like, oh, I feel bad. There we go. It was from Sordiara. That's where I got those. So these are just a non-elemental version of the mortar spell. And then we now have some Volt versions. I'm trying to remember. I think Ice is weak to Volt. Wind is weak to fire. Something like that. I can't remember anymore. It's been a while. So now we have sigils, we can fuse offerings, and we have new factions, essentially. And we get a ton of sigils to start up. So this is kind of the next layer of character customization in this game. So I'm just going to fast go through the rest of them, but just so you can see kind of thing. So if you have a fully neutral arm, then you get even more health from this effect. So they usually have some kind of like extra ability depending on kind of how you add it in there. This will be the last one. So if you have like the Dark Arm 1, then you get an extra 10% for like arm-based magic spells. And you get tons of these as you go through the game.
Sortiara's memories and emotions came flooding through my right arm. Along with something dark and terrifying.
Shit.
The blight of true sacrifice. It feels like she is still somewhere inside there. Sortiara's bloodlust is now my own. I dread to think of what will become of me, body or mind. And so, I started this journal. My ill fate may not be far off. The signs have begun to manifest. But even now, my right arm tells me that she is still here, with all of her hatred, all of her sorrow, and a dash of hope. This sensation is all that comforts me in my loss of a true friend.
Root.
Several days later, my admittance into Avalon was confirmed.
Everything about them looks evil.
Avalon coordinated sorcerers and their monster extermination. It was here that I met him. The man with eternal life.
Shit. They have good story hooks, too.
Now we inaugurate the author's new life as a bona fide sorcerer. What travels now await you? You will see as more pages become available as phantom quests.
Whole thing for me, too, is if I want to play through this game more, it doesn't matter, because I could go back and you can, like, relive any part of the story, so it's cool that way.
You're not ready to read the other pages.
But I'll probably just power up spells and kind of chill out kind of thing.
There are still a few pages that you need to read first.
Sortiara's soul dwells in my right arm. The soul speaks to me in a faint voice. I have decided to jot down what I can make out, so that it may serve as a record, so that someone, somewhere, can one day read of the sorceress Sortiara.
There is no denying that I was insane. It was triggered when I discovered the secret of my birth. Defiled as I was, I came to despise the world and envy all within it.
As one does.
What an abhorrent woman I became. Detesting all the world offered, selfishness led to self-loathing. Deep within me, I nurtured a hideous monstrosity known as bloodlust. When we first became partners, you too were a target of my hate. With your righteous manner, you were everything I was not. Of course, I was terribly alone, living as I had for so long. I had never known a single friend until I met you.
Pretty fucking sad.
When you patted my back, that alone eased my suffering beyond measure. I felt happiness.
That's the thing, if nobody ever shows you kindness, even the most
We
basic,
met under different circumstances.
anything.
We could have been... No, that's unlike me. I allowed myself to imagine what could never be. And so I bear you no ill will. Although my life was spoiled by hatred, in my final moments, I felt what it means to be human. Thank you. However, I must apologize. My bloodlust has now passed into your right arm. Therein lies the terrible monstrosity reared deep within my soul. My first and final friend. I can only hope this foul horror will not beget your destruction. Until my dying breath, I prayed for only that.
Seems like she wanted to die the whole time.
What do you imagine our dear author thought of Sortiara's final words? The bloodlust inherited from Sortiara is a unique force indeed. With its power, our humble protagonist will influence the course of this very world. Go on and see how this grand tale unfolds.
Alright. So we can't look at anything with Magasar yet. What is... I believe this is what's different in the game, is now they have the Sorcerer's Deeds section. Which is pretty cool, so you can kind of choose what order you want to go through things. It began right after the Avalon trial when Sortiara was lost. My life as a sorcerer, I mean. Sortiara's curse continued to consume my right arm. Several years would pass before I encountered Magasar. In the years before I first met Magasar, I roamed the land and talked to many sorcerers. From them, I learned new ways to do battle. For example, I was taught how to combo spells. I feel like they should have said combine. So this is kind of cool. So this is basically how you can... It's kind of going over what we already knew about how you can use two spells together. So if you throw out one of these spells and then use the axe will pull in, and then it's like an ice element spell. And then this is teaching the already thing where we know about the dash forward. And that's what we use to fight Sordiara anyway, so... Yeah. It's kind of cool. You can just figure out combinations of spells, what works, what doesn't. You know, kind of do your own thing, come up with a build that you really like. I'm going to go through the sigils now real quick, because that's kind of the next thing that's unlocked. And then we'll continue on with the storyline. Now, we can carve sigils in. Sigils funnel the soul and life essence from within your right arm. Select which sigils to use in the upper arm, forearm, and palm in the back of your hand. We don't really have any to start. So, for the upper arm, we can recover from poison quicker. Mid-arm, different combinations of forearm sigils may result in resonance. Resonance amplifies the effect of forearm skills. So, let's see here. I have to have a neutral arm for that. I have to have a dark arm. This is also so I would need the Grave Spike Soul Essence, so that's something else that you farm from enemies to be able to put that in. For now, we'll take the 5% boost. Not really planning to use our magic, but we'll throw it in there anyway. Maybe I'll use it a bit more. And then here, only one we can use right now is the base health now. Whereas, like I said, if you kept your arm neutral, it would have a greater effect. And you can save gear sets too, which is cool. And then you can look up what you essentially got out of what you did. So this is kind of like how your armor works, and then you can look up which essences you have already, stuff like that. Changing your faction just changes like what happens when you sacrifice or save somebody, essentially. All right, so, oh yeah, we should have a new thing from there. All right. That spell I'm not too keen on. And then you can press the L button to fuse offerings, basically to make new ones still. And it'll try to use the lower star offerings. So far all we can really make is Iron Drake eggs, so we'd have to give up a Falcon Feather and then one of the elemental eggs. So, not much you can make to start, but it builds up as you play through. And I'm going to take the non-elemental version back, though. I usually like to build it that way. Maybe I should use Arm Magic. What do I have for arm magic? Yeah, we'll do that. I don't mind the arm magic. It's more of a, it's like a slower hit. That's the only thing. Okay, so then Sorcerer's Deeds, you can pick which storyline you kind of want to go through at first. So I'm going to do like the Avalon. What I'll do is I'll do the beginning of each one, and then we'll move on that way with it. So we'll start with Avalon. Their headquarters look so fucking evil. And then just to show, obviously they're probably focused on saving people rather than sacrificing. And then Grimm is kind of cool. A lot of their quests seem to be based around like Grimm's fairy tales and stuff like that. But they have their own unique mechanic, which is called Fate.